All right, ready for another deep dive?
Let's do it.
This time, we're traveling back to 1900 to uncover the story of a drink that's captivated South America for centuries.
Centuries. Wow, that's a long time.
Oh yeah, we're talking about yerba mate.
Yerba mate. Okay. I've heard of it, but to be honest, I don't know much about it.
Well, you're in for a treat. We're diving into this little booklet from 1900 called Yerba Mate Tea, the history of its early discovery in Paraguay. It's not just a history lesson, though. This drink is woven into the cultural fabric of an entire continent.
That's fascinating. So where do we even begin?
Well, picture this. Lush forests, vibrant cultures, and at the heart of it all, yerba mate.
Okay, I'm picturing it. It sounds amazing. But what exactly is yerba mate?
It's this traditional South American beverage brewed from the leaves of the Ilex paraguayensis plant. And trust me, its history is as rich and complex as its flavor.
I'm intrigued. So how did this drink become such a cultural phenomenon? Who discovered it?
Well, that's where things take an interesting turn. It all starts with a group of Jesuit missionaries venturing into Paraguay, to spread their beliefs, to teach.
Okay, I'm following you. Missionaries, Paraguay. Got it.
Now, you'd think they'd be the ones bringing new knowledge to the land.
Right. That's usually how it goes.
Exactly. But get this, in a fascinating twist, they ended up learning a thing or two from the indigenous Guarani people.
Oh, wow. Okay, now that's a plot twist I didn't see coming.
Right. So these Jesuits are in this new land, encountering unfamiliar customs, and bam, they stumble upon something extraordinary that the Guarani people already knew intimately, yerba mate.
So it's almost like an accidental discovery. The Guarani people were already enjoying this drink for who knows how long before the Jesuits arrived.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. The Jesuits, they're observing the Guarani people, and they're impressed, maybe even a bit baffled. These people are thriving, strong, full of stamina, and they're fueled by this drink.
Okay, I can see why they'd be curious. Did they figure out what made this drink so special?
Well, according to their writings, the Jesuits were pretty blown away by what they saw. It wasn't just that the Guarani people drank yerba mate. It was a part of everything they did, their rituals, their social gatherings, their entire way of life.
It sounds like they stumbled onto something deeply rooted in the culture.
Exactly. And the Jesuits, they couldn't help but connect the dots. They saw the Guarani's strength and energy and attributed it, at least in part, to their love for yerba mate.
So they started to think maybe this drink wasn't just a drink, maybe it was a secret source of vitality? I love it.
That's exactly what we're going to unpack right after the break, so stay tuned. So they saw those amazing effects firsthand and knew they had to understand this yerba mate better.
Exactly. And you know this booklet we keep talking about, it actually gives us this incredible look at how yerba mate was traditionally made. Like it lays out the whole process.
Oh, cool. So how does it work? How did they go from, those leaves in the forest to a drink ready to share?
All right, picture this, okay? You've got these huge forests called yerbales.
Yerbales, okay.
And this is where these special plants grow, the Ilex paraguayensis, the Guarani. They would go out to these forests and harvest the leaves so carefully. Like they really understood the plants and when to pick them.
It's like this whole relationship between the people and the forest, right?
Totally. And this is where it gets even cooler. So after they harvest the leaves, then comes the roasting.
Roasting, yeah, I bet that's important for the flavor.
Absolutely. And the booklet, it makes a big deal about how important this step is. Like if you don't roast it just right, you mess up the flavor, the smell, even how good it is for you. They were really careful about it.
It's like you can tell just from reading this how much they perfected that process over who knows how many years.
Yeah.
Right? Like getting the roast perfect.
Right, exactly. Passed down through generations, probably. So they've got the leaves, they've roasted them. What do you think comes next?
I'm guessing they have to grind those leaves up somehow, right? To make them into something you can brew.
You got it. Grinding is the next step. But remember, this is the early 1900s we're talking about here. No fancy electric gadgets back then. The booklet says they use these big mortars.
Mortars, like what you'd use to grind up spices and stuff.
Exactly, those big, heavy bowls and a pestle, all done by hand. They'd use that to crush the leaves down until they were ready to be brewed.
Wow, that's a lot of work. You can really tell how much they valued this drink, even back then.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And speaking of work, getting that yerba mate to everyone who wanted to drink it, that was a whole other challenge back then, I bet.
I can imagine. No trucks or anything like that. How did they get it around?
Well, the booklet mentions ox carts traveling over these rough roads, mules going up and down these crazy mountain paths, even boats loaded down with yerba mate going down the rivers. It's pretty wild when you think about it.
It really makes you appreciate that cup of yerba mate, like knowing everything it took to even, exist, right?
Totally. It's a whole journey from those forests all the way to your cup.
Mm.
But you know what else is cool? This deep dive, it's shown me that yerba mate, it's way more than just a drink in South America.
What do you mean?
Like, it's part of their culture, a big part. And this booklet, it actually taught me 2 new words that showed just how important it is.
Okay, hit me with it. What are the words?
All right, so one word is cuya, C-U-Y-A. It's this special cup, usually made from a gourd, and people would decorate them really beautifully, like with carvings and stuff.
Oh, wow, like works of art almost.
Exactly. And then there's the bombilla. It's spelled Bombila, and it's this metal straw that you use to drink the yerba mate from the cuya. It often has a filter on the end, too.
So it's not just about drinking it, it's about this whole experience, like a ritual almost.
Totally. It's all about sharing and connecting with people. The booklet talks about how if you offer someone yerba mate in this traditional way, with the cuya and bombilla, it's like this big sign of respect, a friendship and welcoming them into your home and your life.
That is so cool. It really shows how a drink can become so much more than just a drink. But this booklet, it wasn't just about these traditions and rituals, right? They also made some pretty bold claims about how good yerba mate is for you. They really did. It was like they were saying yerba mate was some miracle drink.
Oh, yeah, they talked about how it could make you stronger, help your brain, even help with digestion, like it could do it all.
They even said it promotes temperance, whatever that means.
Right. Like, it's kind of funny looking back at it now. It really makes you realize how much we've learned about health and medicine since then.
Totally. But it does make you wonder, was there actually any truth to what they were saying back then? Or was it just hype?
That's the thing. It's easy to dismiss these old claims, but when you actually look at the research today, some of it, and maybe not all of it, but some of it lines up with what they were saying way back then.
Get out. So it wasn't all just, old wives' tales.
No, not exactly. For example, antioxidants. Yerba mate, it's got tons of them, even more than green tea. And there's been studies, actual research, showing that it might be good for your brain and might even help with digestion, just like that booklet said.
That's wild. But I'm guessing they probably overdid it a little back then.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, it's exciting to see that some of their observations were onto something. You always got to be careful with these kinds of health claims, even the modern ones.
That's right. Always good to be a little skeptical. But, thinking about all this, it really makes you wonder, why should someone today, maybe someone listening right now, why should they care about this drink? It's from centuries ago and, all the way in South America.
It's funny you say that. I think it's easy to think these old ways of doing things are irrelevant, but then you find something like this, and it challenges that whole idea. Like, maybe the answers we're looking for sometimes, they've been around for centuries, just hidden in plain sight.
It's like yerba mate is this bridge between these ancient traditions and what we're learning through science now.
Exactly. And it's not just about the health stuff either. Think about the culture, This drink, it's been bringing people together for centuries in South America, and now it's popping up in cafes and homes all over the world. It's kind of cool when you think about it.
It really is. It's like whether you're looking for something new to try or you want to connect with these really old traditions, yerba mate has something to offer.
I'm with you on that. One more thing that stuck with me from this booklet was how they made yerba mate seem like the perfect drink for everyone.
Oh, yeah, they were really pushing that. But do you really think any drink can be universally loved? That seems almost impossible.
It's a good question to ask. It makes you really think about what it even means for something to be universally appealing,
Yeah.
Especially something like a drink, which is so personal and tied to our cultures and experiences.
Totally. It's a lot to unpack, that's for sure. So we'll leave everyone with this. Yerba mate has this incredible history, full of tradition and culture and maybe even some health benefits. But whether its future means taking over the world or staying strong in its South American roots, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
That's the beauty of it. It's a story that's still being written, one sip at a time.